In this video, we are going to start talking about exponential functions. This is a function where your x is in the exponent. The first thing we're going to do is look at what an exponential function looks like on the graph. So if I go to my y equals and put in 2 to the x power and graph it. This is what an exponential function looks like on the graph. Let's get a couple of points from this table. So there is a point at 0, 1. So left and right 0, up 1. Another point to the right 1 and up 2 for 1, 2. To the right 3 and up 8. So let's look at what happens when the x's go negative. What is happening is you are going to get closer and closer to that x-axis. That point at negative 1, so to the left 1 and up a half. To the left 2 and up just 0.25. So what is happening is you are just getting closer and closer to that x-axis. This is what you are going to see when you are graphing exponential functions. All right, let's look at this next example. Y equals 1/4 to the x power. So again, I'm going to put this in my y equals. So open, 1/4, close. Go up into my exponent, and that's where my x is, and graph this. You will notice that it reflected across the y-axis here. That is because the absolute value of that base of 1/4 is less than 1. So if I want to plot some points, let's look at the table. Let's see, there's a point at 0, 1. Let's see, let's go to where the x's are negative. So there's a point at negative 1, 4. So to the left 1, up 4. Now let's go to where they are positive. So to the right 1 and up just a little bit at 0.25. And then it's just going to get closer and closer to the x-axis going this way. That's what happens when the absolute value of your base is less than 1. It reflects that, or it moves the part that shoots up into the air to the other side of the y-axis. All right, let's look at this next example. We have f of x equals 3/5 e to the x power. This e actually stands, it's not a normal variable, it stands for Euler's number, and it is approximately equal to 2.71828. You actually have a button for this on your calculator. So let's type that fraction in first in our y equals. So open, 3/5, close. The e is, if you look on that very left column, the one that has the green S on it, you'll look, that also in blue has e to the x power. So since we need to get to the blue function of that key, we need to hit the blue second button first. So second, and then the e. So you'll notice that that gives you the e, and it also automatically puts the cursor up into your exponent where you will put the x. So this looks like a normal exponential graph because remember that e is a number. It's that 2.71 number. So if we wanted to get a couple of points out of this table to plot. So 0.6. So left and right 0, up 0.6. To the right 1, up 1.6. So these are going to be approximate. To the right 2, up 4.4. And then when your x's go negative, so when x is -1, the y is 0.2207. So again, it has that exponential shape. So now that we know what e is, let's see what happens when you raise it to certain exponents. For instance, if you have e to the 5th power, remember to get to e, you'll hit the blue second key and then the e to the x. This time your exponent will be 5. And then let's just see what that is. I have 148.413591. If you are asked to round this to 4 decimal places, you will count 4 places after the decimal and then look at the very next number. If it is 5 or greater, which it is in this case, you are going to round that 1 up to a 2. So you will have 148.4132. All right, in this example, we are going to use our shifting rules to move these exponential graphs around, or these exponential functions around the graph. If you have a number inside the exponent, that's going to be your inside number that shifts you horizontally opposite the sign. So that +2 is going to shift this graph to the left. Whoops, if I can spell. To the left 2. This number is called your base. That will become important when we are doing the graphing in MATLAB. So we are going to start off with the base of 2 to the x power, and we're going to shift it horizontally to the left 2. So I would choose D. In this box, I am talking about the base being 2. That's what you're going to put in that box. So 2 to the x power, shifting 2 units to the left. Now we are going to graph this. So just like the other section that we covered on the shifting rules, the first thing you're going to do is choose the shape. So I am going to come over here on the left in my toolbox and choose that exponential shape, and I actually can click anywhere on the graph. What that's going to do is put that exponential shape right in, whoops, start over. So it puts it right in the middle and pops up your shifting box. So a couple of things. The first thing we want to do is shift it to the left 2. So a horizontal shift, moving to the left 2. Also, MATLAB, you'll notice under the reflection boxes in your shifting box, that blue rectangle, MATLAB defaults and automatically sets the base to E. What I need to do is go into that box, take out the E, and put in my base, which is a 2. So I changed the base from E to 2. It doesn't change the shape of that graph very much because remember, the number E, that Euler's number, is actually a number close to 2, but it does change it. So make sure you change the base from E to 2. On this next example, I have f of x equals 2 to the x, and then minus 6. That minus 6 is not inside the exponent. What that means is that it's an outside number, so it shifts vertically with the sign. So I am starting off with the graph of 2 to the x power, and I'm going to shift it down 6. So graphing this one, it's still the exponential shape. So I will tell it exponential shape. Click anywhere on the graph. It puts it right in the middle. And then vertical shift down 6. And once again, you'll notice in the blue rectangle, your base is E. So you need to take that E out and put in your base. In my case, that would be the 2. And then it kind of asks it backwards on this one. We're going to start off with the function y equals 2 to the x power. And then we're going to shift it down 6, which we've actually already done. All right, last example on this video. We have f of x equals 2 to the x plus 3 and then minus 1. So we are starting off, our base again is 2 to the x power. My horizontal shift that comes from my inside number opposite that sign will be to the left 3, and then my vertical shift, which comes from that outside number, will shift it down 1. So starting off with 2 to the x power, shift it left 3 and down 1. And then we'll graph it. So again, tell it the exponential shape and click anywhere. Once again, it puts it right in the middle. We'll horizontal shift to the left 3, and then we will vertical shift down 1. And then our last thing is to change the E to your base, which in my case is 2.